There's a blue box in front of the Apostle P camera, and that usually means we're going to have a good time talking about a knife from Benchmade. Tonight's not one of those nights. Oh, golly. You guys know I love Benchmade. The 710 in my list of the top 5 most significant knives of the last half century. The 940, perhaps the best EDC blade ever made. Even the Griptilian series with its entry-level affordability in an axis lock platform and its versatility, its variety, its customizability. I love Benchmade. I field the comments from the haters all the time who tell me the axis lock blows, and they've owned 23 Benchmades with axis locks and every Omega spring and every one of them has broken and they're garbage. I listen to it, I weather it, and I continue to love Benchmade. So, let's talk about what's inside this box. Stay tuned, guys. Hi gang, Rob here. It's the evening of 3 December 2014, and it was with great anticipation as I opened the drawer of my P.O. box the other day and saw this box and this sticker. I believe that says 761 M390 Ti bearing. MLK, which stands for Monolock in Benchmadeese. Monolock knife. Yeah, I thought, well, all right, here we go. Nobody's going to be able to bag on Benchmade for this one, are they? No axis lock. We're just going to build us a titanium Framelock knife, aren't we? Says Les Diasis and the boys in Oregon City. We'll show you that we can play with the big boys. Here's the knife. Yeah. Look at those exquisite lines. Look at that. Look at the complexity of the CNC program that milled this baby out. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Did they hit all the high points of 2014 in vogue specifications? Let's see. We've got a 6AL4V titanium framed Framelock or monolock knife. A handle 4.87 inches long, and I'm going to have to switch hands. Oh yeah, got to switch hands. Did you see that? Ooh. We have a blade 3.73 inches long, crafted of Bowler M390 Super Steel. We've got a pretty sexy, well, I guess we're going to have to call that a drop point, or is there a subtle clip right here? Blade shape familiar? Anyone? Well, it's only 0.42 inches thick, and it even appears thinner than that because of this very interesting chamfering, compound chamfering. It's on bearings, by the way, and it's pretty darn fast. By the way, it weighs 4.36 ounces, almost 4.5. Gee, what could the guys at Benchmade have been thinking of when they designed this knife? Huh. Really? Interesting. Wow. They're pretty similar, aren't they? But they're not. The purpose of this video, guys, is not a review, and I wish I were much more excited about this than I am. This knife belongs to one of my sharpening customers who seems to have fallen into a pattern of having every new knife that he buys drop shipped to me before I forward it along. This being the latest, and regrettably, before I sent it on to him, I had to send him an email bearing bad news. And at first glance, I thought, oh, we've got a defective Benchmade 761. And then I started digging into it a little deeper, and I don't think it really is defective, except in engineering and design. And the purpose of this video is to make you guys aware of this, who are expecting a well thought out, well engineered, and well executed strong titanium frame lock like the Chris Reeve Sebenza. You know, kind of sleek, gentlemanly, sophisticated, grown up, but still built like a bank vault. You'll not be getting that with the 761. So here's how the saga goes. I knew I was not going to buy this knife because of this. Tip down, right hand only carry. You guys who watch the channel know that I'm a lefty. Benchmade states in its own product literature, and has for years, on all their titanium frame lock knives, and even their liner locks, I believe, they set up knives for tip down carry because of safety, because if the knife is hanging in your pocket and you slide your hand down next to it, they don't want the blade to be in this position in your pocket, and your hand can come down on the tip or the cutting edge and cut yourself. They feel like if it is pointing down, the blade's going to be hanging down, your hand's going to slide down the spine and probably close the knife. Well, okay, all of us go, really? My Sebenza never comes open in my pocket. My ZT 0550 never comes open in my pocket. Don't know what you're talking about. Well, turns out, and apparently this has been an issue on several other Benchmades, liner locks, frame locks with tip down carry. Just watch this, guys. Yeah. I'm just going to open this full range here. I can't really even detect a detent. The only way that you're going to get tension opening this knife is to push in this direction with your thumb and then change directions, which, you know, lots of us have opened knives like that for a long time. We just don't expect it in a $331.50 titanium frame lock. So I thought, man, that is not right. And I started to examine. Here's what I found. Now I want you guys to watch closely. Watch what happens to the lock bar as I approach open. Watch what happens when the lock bar falls off the blade tang. Get this where you can see it. As the knife opens. I'm going to come up real close here. Okay, see how much it moved? That's actually quite a lot. More than a 32nd of an inch. Okay? Now, watch how far it moves when I close the knife. And the detent ball falls into the hole in the blade. See that? You can't even hardly tell that it's moving. So I thought, okay, no problem. Look, see? I thought, no problem. The hole and the detent ball are not oriented properly, located with each other properly. And then I started looking a little deeper. You know, we could go in and remove some material from this portion of the blade tang that contacts the closed stop pin, which is a small round pin that you see. Right in front, to the left of that is where it contacts the tang, which would drop the blade deeper into the handle, letting the detent ball engage more of the hole. But then I thought, you know what? What if I apply pressure to the lock bar? Does it make the detent more pronounced? Not really. Okay. And then I thought, well, let's look at this lock bar. Look how thin it is. Look how thin the relief cut is. Look how thin the entire lock bar is. Look at the small area of contact and the thinness of the section. And then we've got this sort of Shirogorov step in this adjustable closed or open stop pin. See that faceted stop pin? You can turn that, change where the blade engages it, so it changes where the lock bar engages the blade tang. But it's all just so flimsy. Guys, I'm putting... Oh, man. Just by, gauging pistol triggers with my index finger, it takes less than 5 pounds of pressure to disengage that lock bar. And I don't think you're going to increase it by bending it. It's just so darn thin. Everything about this knife is just super flimsy. And here's another reason I think they went tip down only. The pocket clip is the over travel stop for the lock bar. Watch. See it? And if it wasn't there, I'll tell you this. If I carried my Sebenza for a week, disengaging that lock bar, and I put this in my pocket, and this pocket clip wasn't here to stop me, I'd snap that flimsy little lock bar right off. I mean, it's got, I would dare say it has less tension than the tiny little thin liner lock on a Rat 2. I don't know. Just buyer beware, guys. And if you do buy one of these, don't even consider having it modded for tip-up carry. You're going to damage this lock bar. It's just, frankly, it's embarrassing. How they, I mean, I can understand how they drew the knife like this, but I can't understand how, after they prototyped it, that it ever made it to production. The sad thing is, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's gorgeous. And ergonomically, it's really good. I mean, it really is. It's just, it's great looking. It's got great materials. The grinds on the blade are phenomenal. It is super thin behind the edge. Well, I shouldn't say phenomenal. I just caught quite a bit of grinder chatter underneath the stonewash there. Look at that. I guess not quite impeccable. I don't know if the camera's picking this up too well. Oh, there you go. Looks like they covered some not so precise grinding up with a stonewash and didn't quite get it covered up. But, symmetry is great. The sharpening notch is executed perfectly. They've been listening. Look where the plunge grind stops. Great work. Good looking sculpted titanium clip. Just the right amount of traction inside that lock bar. Interesting reverse grip jimping inside the frame, so if you're gripping the knife in an overhand fashion, it's not going to tire you out if you're working it hard, although I wouldn't suggest working this knife hard, guys. Anyway, This one's going back, and I believe it's going to be returned for credit at the retailer who sold it, because I don't think, given the analysis of the whole design, I don't think my customer who intended to use this knife, much like you would use a Sebenza, has any faith in its design after this. I mean, can you see how little pressure I'm applying here? I'm telling you, if you bought a liner lock knife at a gas station with this detent, you'd return it. I don't know. I think there have been some fairly positive reviews of this on some forums, and maybe even a YouTube video or two by guys who have just purchased it because it's brand new and they just spent their $331.50 on the knife. And I think there's a little psychology at work there, and they really want to feel good about this snazzy new Benchmade they just spent almost as much money as they would have spent on that for. Not a good purchase. Might want to stay away from this, guys, at least until they get some issues figured out, and they got issues. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, and sorry to be a Benchmade fanboy who has to deliver it. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word is sharp.